Hey, how you doing? My name is Julien. I'm a photographer in New Orleans, Louisiana.
I love meeting new people from all walks of life, getting to know them, photographing them in my studio, destinations, and especially New Orleans. You know, New Orleans is a majestic, historical city with an infinite variety of beautiful backdrops to create lasting memories. And it's a super fun place to photograph people in. When you have quality equipment, beautiful models, and beautiful light, the final product is priceless.
Hi, my name is Julien,
and I live in New Orleans and love the city because of its unique vibe and energy. I love bringing out the stories that are one of a kind and everlasting. My years in TV and movie production gives me the ability to create stories that are unique. I can turn your special day into a beautiful, timeless movie.
We actually met in undergrad in North Carolina A&T, Agriculture and Technical State University, and we met my sophomore year. He was a senior.
I met Katherine back in 2003 at North Carolina A&T State University, where we were both students. She was a sophomore and I was a senior, and we was taking an economics class as well as an African American history course together.
And we actually had an honors macroeconomics class, and he was there. I thought he was a little pompous at first because he would stay and then leave early in the class, and then in the library he always kind of talked real, I don't know, I thought he was pompous, so I never really took notice of it.
I guess the first time I met Katherine, I won't say it was, yeah, that's the one, but I did see something about her.
And then we had another class together. The spring of that same year was like an honors seminar class. And we actually didn't talk that whole semester until we had a trip to Booker T. Washington's, where he grew up, the plantation he grew up in North Carolina.
She was the first female that actually brought home to my parents. And she said, my thing was, she said, I never been to South Carolina. I said, oh, sure, you can come to South Carolina. I live in South Carolina, and so during the summer that we was talking over the phone a lot, I said, you can come down to South Carolina and I'll show you South Carolina. And at that time, I knew it was something about Katherine that I liked and loved. And so we went to Charleston, South Carolina, and that was our first official date. And we saw Shrek, and Charleston, in a way, where we met at is similar to New Orleans, an old city. I mean, the buildings are old. It's just something about, and it's ironic that now we're in the same location, or I'm in another city just like Charleston 7 years later.
We dated for long distance for about 7.5 years, and after college, we didn't live in the same city until we got here in New Orleans, which was in like 2010. So that was about 7 years where we were doing distance the whole time. And so finally the point where, like, do I like you in the same city? We really need to figure that out. So he moved down here to work, and he decided to come down, and I knew that's who I wanted to marry, but you just got to make sure it's a different situation when you're distant. The
proposal to Katherine was a unique experience. During that time, we was actually looking to buy a house here in New Orleans in the Treme community. And I said we were about to close on this house, and everything was working up. The inspections came back pretty good. And I said, let's just go out to dinner and have a nice dinner here in New Orleans and celebrate this new house we're about to move to in Treme on Ursuline Street. And after that fact, we said, it was after work on a Friday afternoon, and we went on to the Creole Queen, take a nice dinner cruise. And during that dinner cruise, she didn't know what was going on. I just came from work, and we was on the Mississippi. I said, since New Orleans is gonna be our home, I said the perfect place to propose to Katherine would be on the Mississippi River in our new home. And we kept that throughout the evening. We was on the cruise.
And then he had tickets to one of the river cruises, and that's where we were eating. It's like, oh, that's nice, that's different. So we ate there. It was nice. It was different experience on the boat, but the music was good, the food was decent. And basically we just talked the whole night, and we went up to the top of the boat and just some more talking, and he's not always a talkative type, so when he's talking, I just listen and take it all in. And all of a sudden he's like, look over there, and I'm gullible, so I'm like, ooh, what's over there?
During the time she looked away, And I had the ring in my pocket.
And he was doing, I looked back around, he was on his knee with his ring. He's like, will you marry me?
Got down on one knee and asked Katherine to marry me, right there on the Mississippi River.
And he said I didn't say yes. I was like, I knew I said yes, and oh, yeah. And he was still down there. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, you didn't say yes. I'm like, yes, I did. So that's how it happened.
I thought I placed the ring on the right finger at the time, but I was unsure. I guess I didn't do enough research in that particular area. And so I guess I was like, Katherine, no, this is the right hand. And then she went to the jeweler to get it resized, and she found out it was on the wrong hand. I just was an honest mistake.
Obviously, I was excited, as I said, but actually for the first day, I didn't realize I had it on my right hand. I just knew it was a ring on my body from Howard. And the next morning, I went to volunteer at the place I volunteer. I was like, oh, I'm married. And they're like, it's on the wrong hand. So, and then I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't even notice. I was just so happy that that I had a ring on my hand. I really had no recollection that I was on the wrong hand.
Katherine, she's my everything. She's my inspiration to get up and do better than I did before. I'm a hard worker, but things that she worked a lot harder than me sometimes, which is kind of, I thought was odd to find somebody who worked harder than me at certain things. She's very caring. She has a warming personality. She's very family oriented. Despite we're both from different places. She grew up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I grew up in a little small town called Manning, South Carolina. She had a lot of characteristics that remind me of my family values, and I saw something in Katherine that I would want to have in one day, potentially not only being my wife, but being the mother of my kids. She's a genuine, great person. She cares for others, she cares for her husband, and she cares for her family. And most important, she's a God-fearing woman.
I don't want to say opposites attract because we're very much alike, but we're very much different in a sense. It's weird, and I really just think he's a good compliment to me, but also someone I can just really feel myself around. And you know, I'm a little corny, kooky, and he doesn't make me feel this. Even though he thinks he's like, oh, I'm cool. He's corny, kooky too, but he just makes me feel comfortable. We still have our differences, but we're able to work them out, and you know, I'm looking forward to spending the rest of my life with them and seeing what else we do together.
I love you, Katherine, a lot. You know I'm there for you, and I will try to do everything I can to make you happy. And you're my everything, even when things do seem kind of bad. But you know, at the end of it, I realize whatever we do, we're doing it together.